When Arma Hobby release a new kit, people take notice. Why is that? Find out by looking at their new P-39 AIRACOBRA right here on Gary's Stuff. Hello there, I'm Gary, welcome to the channel, welcome back if you've been here before. So today I'm looking at the P-39Q in 1/72nd scale. First of all, I'll have a quick look at the history of the AIRACOBRA. Why should you be bothered with this quirky little aeroplane? Then I'll have a good old look at the kit, and finally I'll show you what other options are available should you wish to build an AIRACOBRA. I think you will. All of that comes as chapters. You can hop backwards and forwards as your heart desires. And of course, if you like what you see today, as usual, Imperial thumbs up on the like button, please. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell to make sure you get notifications of new videos. And of course, to give a bit more concrete support, you can do super thanks or go through any of my partner channels. So let's kick off today with a look at the history of the P-39 AIRACOBRA. The P-39 AIRACOBRA was developed by the American Bell Aircraft Company for the US Army Air Forces in World War II. It was a single-seat monoplane fighter with an unusual layout. The engine sat behind the pilot, connecting to the propeller by a long drive shaft, and the aircraft had a tricycle undercarriage. This strange layout allowed for the placing of a 37mm M4 cannon in the nose, arguably the first time a fighter was designed around a specific gun. The prototype XP-39 flew for the first time on 6th of April 1938. Although it could manage 630 kilometers an hour or 390 miles an hour at altitude, this was slower than had been promised. Dramatic changes to the design, including using a simpler supercharger, made the aircraft faster at lower levels, but with poorer high-altitude performance. Adding extra armour, self-sealing tanks and more armament made certain that the type would never prosper in frontline use in Western Europe. While the P-39 was essentially relegated to other theatres such as the Pacific in US service, many were provided to the Soviet Union under the Lend-Lease scheme. As most operations on the Eastern Front were made at low level, the P-39 was much loved by Soviet pilots, such as multiple aces Grigory Rechkalov and Alexander Purishkin. It is interesting here that the Soviets marked their kills with their own red star instead of the enemy's symbols as in other air forces. The Soviets liked the 37mm main gun, despite having a limited magazine size. The huge dimensions of this weapon can be seen when next to crew members. It's no accident that later Soviet fighters, including the MiG-15, retained a 37mm main armament. Most AIRACOBRAs were also fitted with two 50 caliber guns in the nose and another two in the wings, although other armament options were used, such as when the British replaced the 37mm nose gun with a 20mm cannon. Many of the P-39's failings were addressed in the larger P-63 King Cobra, but these were essentially only operated by the Soviet forces, as types such as the P-51 Mustang proved superior in the Western European theatre. P-39s are preserved in museums all around the world, with 3 examples still airworthy. So here we have the new P-39Q AIRACOBRA from Arma Hobby. Let's see what we get in the box. Everything comes in a single plastic bag, almost like a cellophane, quite a hard plastic by comparison. There's all the parts, of course. First of all, let's have a look. There's a instruction sheet and of course a decal sheet. We'll have a look at all of those properly in a minute. There are a couple of sheets of masks very nice. There's the transparent parts which come in their own polythene bag. We have another polythene bag with 3 ball bearings. These are nose weights, we'll see later. And there are just 2 sprues of grey plastic. And we'll have a look at these in a lot more detail. This first sprue here has the fuselage halves, most of the interior bits and pieces, propeller, a couple of bombs, 2 different types of propeller, and the upper surfaces of the wings. The other sprue has the lower surfaces of the wings, yet another propeller, different exhausts, tailplanes, rudder, and so on. The transparency has just come with a single piece windshield and hood, the sort of car door style entries, a gun sight and a light cover. Looking at the sprues in a bit more detail and a bit more closely, and the first thing I can say is that this plastic is lovely. I mean, seriously, this plastic is so nice. It's smooth as you like, and whether they use talcum powder as a release agent, I don't know, but it feels like they do. The lines on here are so crisp and so sharp. They're very fine. They look a lot more in scale than you get on a lot of kits, like Airfix in particular. But I think that everything about this just looks sharp. Do you know what I mean? And I've noticed that before on their Hurricane. Everything just looks sharp. Now, if you have a bit of a closer look at the wing, look at the detail on this wing. And if this thing is actually well moulded and goes together the way it should, this sort of detail is absolutely beautiful. It's epic. Likewise on the fuselage, the front of the fuselage, look at that, look at those panels, look at those lines, look at the rivet holes, the riveting along the top of the wing fillet. And this is seriously nice. I just hope I can actually maintain it all when the kit goes together. Of course, the flip side to having really, really sharply and intricately moulded things is some of them are going to be a real pain to get off the sprue. If we look at this control cluster here, with all the various things like the throttle, fuel mixture and whatever, these are going to be so difficult to get off the sprue in one piece. I'm not entirely sure yet how I'm going to do it. Yeah, I mean, if we look at some of these pieces, they are incredibly thin and incredibly finely moulded. The exhaust ports here, exhaust pipes, 2 different styles. One with 6 common pipes each side, and one with 12 straight outlets on each side. Very, very finely moulded. And if you get an idea of scale, there's my. That's going. You don't know how big my pliers are, my tweezers are. There you go. It's my fingertip. So these are very small, but they're beautiful. They're really beautiful. I mean, this thing's almost a work of art in itself. It's, in a way, it's a shame to take it all off the sprue, but it looks solid, but very, very delicately moulded. And look at some of this detail here. I'm incredibly impressed by how good the mouldings are on this, and there's like no flash. There's just no flash, nothing, no excess of any description, nothing here that shouldn't be here. I like when they do these recessed light wells, because you can paint those up silver, put the light on, and they look great. Or put a piece of tin foil in, as Julian suggested some time ago. You know, these are lovely, lovely mouldings. Yeah, you see something like this and you just think, do you know what, I really want to try and do this justice, because whoever produced this really knows what they're up to. The instructions feel a little compact. They're on a A5 fold over. At the front there's a contents list here, there's all the colour call-outs. They have them for Hataka, for AK, for Humbrol, Ammo by MiG, Mr. Colour, Vallejo and Tamiya. So there's quite a large array of different colour companies you can go with, and they give you call-outs for all of them. Some of them are going to be, you know, similar rather than absolutely accurate. I think the most difficult one's going to be Coral Sand, which is the one they use for the Gilbert Islands aircraft. We'll have a look at the schemes in a bit. That's going to be the most difficult because none of them seem to be all that accurate. But anyway, everything else seems to be quite cool. Instructions are good. Very good. I've used Arma Hobby instructions before, and they've been quite succinct, quite detailed. I do question whether the decals here are going to sit very well on these very moulded instrument panels. For example, they've got decals for the straps as well. I might try that Airfix strip, putting that on some foil and cutting around it before they go on there. And what else? Oh, of course, here is the piece in the nose with the 3 steel balls. That is your nose weight. Beautiful design. Various bits you can cut out that you need to, or remove for various things. Stencils are here. Hope there's not that many stencils. Interesting that again with this one here, the Pacific Gilbert Islands one, a lot of the stencils are quite pale, so there's option markings there. And then the schemes. Here is one for what's it, 363rd Fighter Squadron, Bud Anderson's aircraft in California in 1943. The aircraft from the 6th Fighter Squadron in Macon in the Gilbert Islands in late 43, which is very tempting. There's this one from a Italian airbase, Italian aircraft in 1944. Kind of interesting. I didn't realise the Italian Air Force flew them. Then this is a tactical reconnaissance aircraft, Michael Moffat's one from New Guinea in spring 44, with this pale tail and a yellow spinner. It's quite interesting markings. And a mixed special air regiment, 1945, of the Polish Air Force. All those are very good. Yeah, good set of instructions, nicely printed and nicely presented. The decals, beautifully sharp, beautifully in register, very strong colour. I think they're going to look amazing no matter which scheme you choose. These are printed by TechMod, by the way, so they're very, very high quality indeed. Lots of options to choose from. And here we can see, printed by TechMod, the decals are lovely and sharp. There's a bit of what do they call it? It's like the mounting stuff is slightly wide on some of these, so I think it may well be that I have to sort of do the things like the straps are going to go onto foil first. Get my probe in. Yeah, you can see on the side here, you can see this line. That's actually the edge of the decal. So there's quite a lot of decal that's not got print on it, and that could be a bit of a problem. Things like straps. Also, there's obviously a, where are we, cutout here at the top of the instrument panel. That's where the gun sight fits. That's definitely going to have to be cut out physically. Anything like that we're going to have to cut out because it's going to be a pain otherwise. I'll see if I can get any closer to some of the writing here. That's as close as I can get with my camera to looking at the decals. Can't really, so I'll take a photo with another camera that's got a specialist macro lens. When you look really closely, you can see that some of the text is dropping out at the limit of the printing resolution. I think these are marginally, but marginally, less acute than I've seen in cartograph. But the difference, especially at 1/72nd scale, really is tiny. Just looking at 1/72nd scale, there are several contending kits, although recent toolings are scarce and some of these are only available second hand. All the way back in 1963, Airfix made a new tool of the P-39 and have continued to market it, with the most recent boxing being sold in 2009. Of similar vintage is the 1965 tooling from Revell, which last appeared on the shelves in 1993. In 1976, Frog released their version of the P-39, also sold under the Novo brand, from 1978. In 1977, Hele introduced their new toolkit, taken up later by Testors in 1985 and by Classic Plane in a series of rather racy racing aircraft schemes in 2000. Academy then followed with their new tooling in 1998, later also sold by the MPM label from 2017. Zvezda came next in 1999 with their new tooling, while the most recent arrival was made by RS Models in 2012. Finally, there was also a kit made by Hobby Boss in their Easy Assemble and Incorrectly Spelled range, which reached the market for the first time in 2007. There we go then. What a lovely looking kit. The mouldings are superb. I mean, really beautiful. If you love 1/72 and you like single seat fighters, this should already be on your pre-order list. If it isn't, then get one soon. Buy one soon. These look fantastic. I'll be doing a build video very soon about this, so do keep an eye out on the channel for that. Or of course, you can subscribe and hit the bell, then you'll get notified when new videos come up. And of course, anything on my channel you like, please let me know you like it by the Imperial thumbs up on the like button below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.